Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird. This is What You Recently Missed. Tonight we're talking about conspiracy queens getting divorces, Destiny versus Keffals, the W.Y.R.M saga, and also a viral clip about some cheating fishermen. Let me play some music and drop the links, and I'll be right back with you.
Taking all the views, stepping on place, feeling the fear. I know you feeling it in the air. Whole squad wearing all black, motivation's looking real bad. We back to the bone, raising a fire alone. We ain't never needed nobody. Give me 6 feet, this is my party. Ain't got no feelings, we heartless. Take a peek inside the darkness. Blow up the spot, then we running. Ready or not, here we coming. Somebody better say a prayer for me. Tonight may get a little crazy. Wow. You can meet me outside, but you better buckle up. It's a wild ride. Welcome to the wild side. Wild, wild, wild. Welcome to the wild side. Wild, wild, wild. Welcome to the wild side. Wild, wild, wild. Welcome to the wild side. Wild side. Yeah. Party till 5 in the morning. Do it again in the morning. Do it like we did this rhyming. I think the government watching. Minister perfect society. Struggling with my sobriety. Struggling with my anxiety. Are you feeling the insanity? Anger inside of me. There is a war in me. And it keep trying to me. Blinded by all of the vanity. Snakes all around and they rattling. Tell them to shut up the chattering. Blow up the spot that we want it. Ready or not, here we coming.
Evil people. Evil people.
Tonight may get a little crazy.
Mexico Mary has got it going on.
I just turned all that off. Welcome, everybody. We'll be starting shortly. Thank you, Nana Griffin, for the subscription. I appreciate it. I still have the Cold Beard channel on show every day. This is a new show.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let 'em burn it out. Sell 'em to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. You might not wanna get close. We a little wild war, covered in tattoos. Run it up, taking all the views. Stepping on place, feeling the fear. I know you feeling it in the air. Whole squad wearing all black. Motivation's looking real bad. We back to the bone, raising a fire alone. We ain't never
I guess. I got to share it out everywhere. We'll go ahead and get started.
got no feelings, we heartless. Take a peek inside the darkness. Blow up the spot, then we run it. Ready or not, here we coming. Somebody better say a prayer for me. Tonight may get a little crazy. You can meet me outside, but you better buckle up. It's a wild ride. Welcome to the wild side. Wild, wild, wild. Welcome to the wild side. Wild, wild, wild. Welcome to the wild side.
Welcome, everybody. I am W.Y.R, and this is What You Recently Missed. So this is a new show, a little bit different format. So it's on its own YouTube channel for just W.Y.R.M, What You Recently Missed. And it's a little bit different format. Same Twitch channel. It's not at all on Facebook right now. It's just YouTube and Twitch. But it's I guess it's stories that I typically wouldn't cover. Sometimes it'll be stuff that we can go really deep in depth with. If you haven't noticed, I've been changing my content a little bit. Shorter nightly shows. Tuesdays and Thursdays we got Patreon shows. Monday, Wednesday, Friday I do regular shows just like I always have. But they're just shorter. They typically cover one topic and move along. And then this show was supposed to be yesterday, but I wasn't feeling well. For the past few days, my throat had been like swollen up when I woke up in the morning. And it was just in the morning. And then by like, I don't know, lunch or something, it'd be fine. But yesterday it lasted all day. Hopefully I'm past the worst of that. So we're going to cover some different topics. I'm interested in what you guys think about them, what you have to say. I've told the mods to not ban anybody unless it's some type of offense that'll get my YouTube channel taken down. Everybody can have whatever opinion they want, and we're going to talk about a few different topics in this show, kind of like the old shows used to do. We may run some polls, we may talk about some stuff, but I've got different stories. I've already got the stuff pulled up. We're not going to be watching a whole lot of videos. Instead, I'm just going to pull up a picture about what we're talking about. Then I'll do the rest of it in the background. But I got a few different stories and all the links to them, and we'll go from there. So the first story you may or may not have seen is that we've got some QAnon related divorces going on. One of them is a former Negative 48 follower, or current Negative 48 follower. I have no idea. But her name's Shelly, right? We've been to Shelly's channel on my other show. We've been to Shelly's channel a couple times on CBC and on, and we've read some of the posts between her and a guy named Tenor. If you don't know who Negative 48 is, it's an offshoot from like regular QAnon or Q followers, and he's the leader of it. And they've basically become a regular installment at most Trump rallies. They were also the people that were holed up in Dallas for several weeks, claiming that John F. Kennedy Sr. and Jr. were both coming back for some reason. But now now that none of that happened, instead they follow the rally around, and they get in front row seats, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, there was a falling out that happened in the Negative 48 group. And that made like a splinter group, which they called the Scooby-Doo crew. I shit you not, the Scooby-Doo crew. And from the Scooby-Doo crew, a couple people popped up. One of them was Tenor, obviously the male portion of that, and the other one was Shelly, and they were together for a long time, Shelly and Tenor, but then they split. I'd always been curious about what their lives were like. So Tenor was a previous actor, like he's been in a couple of movies. He was actually in one I watched just to see him in a movie. And it's about this guy kind of losing his mind about his like wife and family. And Tenor played like a detective. Seems like he's played a detective a couple times. He's been on Law and Order. He's been on a couple different movies. Nothing real you'd be like, oh, that's the star of that movie. But still, he's an actor. And Shelly was the other one. And Shelly was just a housewife. Well, it turns out that Shelly had a few things going on. So let me pull up a picture so you know who we're talking about. So this is Shelly and enjoying some nachos. And then out of that came some divorce paperwork. So she had talked before about leaving her family behind. She's made claims about the sacrifices she made, I guess, and like the stuff she did for this cause and this movement. There's been a bunch of accusations swirling around lately on her stealing money and stuff like that. That'll all be on the CBC and On show, or if you watch this channel on Twitch, it'll be on this channel. But the stuff we want to cover tonight is definitely about her divorce, because I find it incredibly interesting. So I'm going to be going through and reading some here. So the first thing we got is, of course, her husband filed for divorce against Shelly. She's listed as a defendant, and I got the court paperwork. It says Russell, I'm not going to give you their last names. Russell, the plaintiff, files this complaint for divorce against Shelly, defendant, and shows as follows. Plaintiff is a resident of Gordon County, Georgia, and has been a resident of the state of Georgia for at least 6 months prior to the filing of this complaint. So first things they're going to go through, just like any other legal paperwork, They're going to make sure they qualify to be in this court. So they are a resident and have been for at least 6 months. Defendant is a resident of Gordon County and Georgia, and is subject to jurisdiction of this court. Plaintiff and defendant were married on the 28th day of September, 1991. So they've been married since the 28th of September, 1991. So what, 30 years? 30. So 91, that'll make 20 plus 22, 31 years. Jesus. Wow. So they're filing. So he's filing for divorce on her after all these years of marriage. I wonder what she did. I wonder what's been going on. Let me get this set up right so I can pull up the next one. 31 years of marriage just gone. So it says defendant. The parties separated on or about the 31st day. The parties separated on or about the 31st day of October. So on Halloween of 2021. So actually a year ago, they were separated and have lived in a bona fide state of separation since that day. So it's not like they just separated and they're like this says. It's not that simple. That's the day that she just disappeared and went to following Negative 48. Lots of women have done it. Some men, but mostly women, older women, have just... Negative 48 has like a harem of female followers that he keeps up in his hotel room. So she jets out to see Negative 48, and that's why they've been separated since October 29th. There are no minor children of this marriage. Plaintiff is entitled to a divorce from defendant upon the grounds that the marriage between the parties is irretrievably broken, as contemplated by OCGA section 195313, there being no reasonable hope for reconciliation. Plaintiff additionally is entitled to a divorce from the defendant as set forth under OCGA 19. I got to skip to the next slide. It doesn't finish out that law. Anyway, some Georgia law. The plaintiff shows that the defendant has joined what appears to be an extremist group that is potentially armed and dangerous. So this is official legal paperwork that he's filing in the court that his lawyer wrote up for him. And it says the plaintiff, Shelly, has joined what appears to be an extremist group that is potentially armed and dangerous. That's got to look good. The plaintiff prays that the defendant be restrained and enjoined from entering upon or going about the marital residence out of safety concerns posed by the strangers traveling with her. So he's asking, can we get a restraining order on this? Can we get a restraining order going to make sure that she can't come into the house that we own together because there's a safety concern of the people that she's traveling with. So her crew that she travels and follows Negative 48 around with. It was weird how her and Tenor kind of split off into a group. And then it was like for a while they're kind of talking shit about the other group. And now it's like they're split, but they both like Negative 48. They're both friends with Negative 48, but they're in their own separate. I don't know. The whole thing's weird. So he asked for protection from the home. The plaintiff shows that the defendant's personality has changed. So he's making a claim that he can show that the defendant's personality has changed since joining said group, and the defendant has abandoned the plaintiff and failed to return to their family. So this is probably going to be a pretty open and closed case for this guy. If he's got, technically he is abandonment, right? She left since October of last year. It's been almost a full year and she hasn't returned home at all. She hasn't returned home at all. Yes, please like and share. If you want to support the stream, you can do that. Same website, coldbeer.fund. Just click the links. This is just a different show, but I have the same everything. I think YouTube has super chats too. I don't have an alert for them, but I should see them pop up in chat. But either way, this channel's monetized. I'm going to try to keep it that way. So don't say nothing crazy in chat. Anyway, so he's got a claim for abandonment, and that her personality has changed, and that he refused to return to the family even after the birth of their first grandchild in December of 2021. So even after Shelly had her first grandkid ever, she did not return home. Who the hell? Why? Why would you not come to see your first grandkid? I get it. If you're like, think Trump's coming back and all this crazy nonsense, if you want to believe that, fine. But what does that have to do with seeing your first grandkid be born? But Shelly claims the order was not against her, stated it was just against those she traveled with. BS papers do not say that. It clearly says it's against her. Yes. Like, Jesus, come on. And not only did she miss the birth of their first grandchild in December of 2021, she did not return home after the death of her own mother, plaintiff's mother, in February of 2022. So her mom died, and she didn't come home for the funeral. She didn't come home. She didn't speak to the family. She didn't nothing. So she missed her fucking grandkid getting born. She also missed the death and I guess burial of her mother. Which, if you believe Jason Q, everybody's a mother-in-law. You're right. It's plaintiffs. It's mother-in-law. She missed the death and burial of her mother-in-law. It's plaintiff. You're right. But still, if you believe Jason Q, I guess you believe they're all coming back on a spaceship. But she missed both those in December and February. December of last year, February of this year. Defendant is healthy and capable of being fully employed. Defendant is healthy and capable of being fully employed. Plaintiff is entitled to reasonable attorney fees and expenses of litigation related to this action. And he very well might get them. Like, typically, that's not something you would get unless, like, let's say that you're like a stay-at-home mom and your husband's like fully employed and he's your only source of income. You probably got a case for like alimony. You also probably got a case if he's the one instigating the divorce, if he filed for it, or if you're filing because he's cheating or abandonment or something like that. A lot of times you have a case for getting attorney's fees paid before by the other side. And considering she kind of abandoned the family, in that I think he'll probably have a pretty good case for getting attorney fees paid, or at least a judgment for them. I don't know that she's got any money. The only money that I knew that she had was all donated to her. And then she got mad because people were talking shit about her getting all this money donated to her to drive around and follow around Negative 48. So she tried to donate it all to Negative 48. It was very strange. Nasara will fix all this. Good luck. Plaintiff is entitled to reasonable litigation. The parties have accumulated various properties, debts, both real and personal, during their marriage, and plaintiff is entitled to an equitable division of the same. The next one says, the plaintiff shows that the parties have substantial debts that the plaintiff is willing to assume in lieu of liquidation. So he's saying, like, I'll take the debts. Like, we got debts. I get it. I'll take all the debts if you don't sell all the shit. And divide the property, division of property, which could make the defendant a person of interest or target of special interest groups or IRS investigation. Jesus Christ. The plaintiff shows that the parties have substantial debts. The plaintiff, the husband, is willing to assume in lieu of liquidation and division. So if you don't want to liquidate and divide, I'll assume all the debts, which could make the defendant, Shelly, a person of interest or target of special interest groups or IRS investigation. So he knows that she's already kind of on a watch list. And if they liquidate everything, pay off all the debts and get a financial sum, and not only is he going to have to rebuy everything, but it also could put a target on her back and make her a person of interest, at least to IRS and groups like that. The plaintiff and adult child, so there's an adult child apparently still living in the home that they share together. The plaintiff and adult child are in need of the marital residence, so the home they live in, and should be given exclusive temporary possession of the marital residence of the parties, and the defendant should be immediately restrained and enjoined from coming about the same. So he's asking for an immediate order. The judge to step in to say, look, we've been living in this house. She abandoned us over a year ago. We need this house. We need to stay here. We need to do that. Please, someone keep her from coming here, which I can understand. I've seen some of their meetings. I've seen the one where they were all rolling each other in toilet paper. And then they made some of the people who didn't listen to Negative 48 clean it all up. Like they're a weird group. They carry around a fucking doll that they like take candid photos of to see what, like the Negative 48 group is weird. Plus, this is an offshoot of that where Shelly does some other very, very weird things. The rest of the page says, wherefore plaintiff prays as follows, that unless the same be waived, process issue, and defendant be served according to law, the plaintiff be granted a total divorce from the defendant, the plaintiff be awarded attorney's fees and expenses of litigation from the defendant, that any marital property accumulated in the marriage be equitably divided between the two parties, the plaintiff be awarded the temporary and exclusive use of possession of the home place, that both parties be restrained and enjoined from transferring, selling, or otherwise disposing of the assets. This is pretty typical where they lock up the assets. So I couldn't like sell all the assets before we went to court. And then they're like, oh, I thought you had a brand new truck. And I'm just like, no, I don't have a truck. Nope. Never had one. That this court issue a temporary restraining order restraining and enjoining defendant from going about the marital residence of the person or adult children of the marriage and or committing acts of family violence against the plaintiff, and from harassing, molesting, or annoying the plaintiff in any manner whatsoever. So basically, they're trying to get a full no contact order, and kind of keep her mouth shut. Right? We don't want you speaking of this. We don't want you talking about this. We don't want you talking to any of this. Okay. That rule issuing order defendant to show cause while the temporary relief requested by plaintiff not be granted, the plaintiff have such other and further relief as the court deems equitable or appropriate under the circumstances. And I think there's one more that goes with this, and I got some other stuff. Then it's just signed the 17th day of March, 2022. It's signed by Rodney L. Mathis, Georgia bar number, the attorney. It's signed by the attorney. And while I was kind of like hinting at this, somebody reached out to me, and I thought, oh, okay. And the person that reached out to me said, oh, I know all about Shelly. And I said, oh, that's interesting. And they're like, would you want a bunch of stuff about Shelly? And I'm like, well, sure. Let's, you just tell me what you got, and then we'll check some of it out. Now, I have not, this is going to be new to me, okay? And a lot of it's video and audio. This show, we don't play a whole lot of video, but I don't mind letting you listen to the audio on the back. I'm just going to leave the picture up. But let's see what we got here. These were sent to me. Looks like there are a couple of screen recordings. Let's see what they are. If it'll open. Okay, there it goes.
God revealed to me that I am Mary Magdalene.
That was God revealed to me. I'll let you listen again. God revealed to me. Lots of dying noises. Then God revealed to me that I am Mary Magdalene. We've dealt with our fair share of who's been reincarnated and who hasn't.
God revealed to me that I am Mary Magdalene.
Very good clip. I'm sure you are Mary Magdalene. Let me grab the next one. See what they sent me. They sent me a few.
Going to tell me.
Oh, sorry. This might actually be a pretty good source. This person reached out to me on their own. Like I didn't hunt them down or nothing like that. Plus, we've got a member of our group that does a really, really good job of keeping up with basically Mike Penny, Shelly, and Tanner in that group, and let them know what's going on. Actually, Tanner's group was hopping up my show going over Shelly, but I think they probably expected one of my normal shows and not this one, because I'm not going to give a whole lot of my opinion. I want to hear you guys' opinion. So here goes the next one.
There wasn't anybody going to tell me that my mission was over with. God is the only one who tells me when my mission is complete. It was bigger than Shelly.
Bigger than Shelly.
I knew who God told me who I was. There was never gonna be going home, Shelly. That wasn't an option. There was no giving up. I told Tanner after it all happened about Jay. And about how he was Judas.
Oh, no.
And those of you that were on the call, you heard the rooster crow. Can't make that up. Can't make it up.
Thrice.
Tanner kept saying, "Who am I? Who am I?" I didn't know who he was. I said, "I don't know. God's got to tell you who you are. I have no idea."
It is hilarious that we always hear, oh, Jay Hannishbury just said it. Can't make it up. Literally, you can. I mean, you guys are claiming, like, even in your own theories, you guys are claiming that all this other stuff is made up about, like, who the president is and what's really going on and what's going on in Ukraine and what's going on in Russia and what's going on with pipelines and what's going on with the economy, what's going on with shipping and what's going on with China and what's going on with Taiwan, and everything else you claim is made up. And then you say some shit like, I can't make this up. Can't make this up.
Until the other day, I said, "You're Peter." And I said, "At what point does history not repeat itself?"
By the way, none of these recordings are like illegally taken or eavesdropping or whatever. They're all from her broadcasts, right? She's broadcasted all this to the public, and then it's been recorded from those.
When we came to God revealed to me.
That's where that one ended. It's just it's looping back to that first one. Let me grab the next one.
Have to figure it out on my own. Thank you.
Do you want to take that, Shelly, or shall I?
Go for it.
So, they said that we recorded the court proceeding, and supposedly Robert Erholtz, K.R., Keith Richards, Kickstand Kelly.
You're right, Thomas. That's some of the dumbest stuff they say. Like, Mike Penny always says, like, it's going to be Christmas in July. And then we always get through July, and he's like, I didn't say what year. What? Yeah, well, you insinuated. You even had people waiting up on it. What do you mean, what year? You had people waiting up on that day. What are you talking about? Or they'll say the same thing about Trump. Trump said he was coming back to office. He didn't say what December. Okay.
All names, sorry everyone, all names given to Kelly by Michael. And since I'm an astute student, Michael, and listen to everything he says, I just listen to everything he says. So Robert apparently went back to Minnesota, refiled, said we recorded, refiled, said we violated the order, which can't be violated because we've never been in a quarter mile of her home in Minnesota. So she just went, spewed, and the corrupt court system regranted the order, and then they did some baloney contempt stuff. My name isn't even on the top. It's written down somewhere lower, and they're saying, that we have a court date of August 10th in Minnesota for contempt. So we were served at the Green Tree Inn. Michael was, rapping about it live and stuff like that. It's all part of the all part of the program. So so we supposedly have court on the 10th. So we're speaking with Field. I actually.
This is if you watch my regular show over on the YouTube channel CBC Anon or through the Twitch channel, if you watch my regular show, we went through all this. This was all the court stuff that has to do around Field McConnell, and Shelly claims that Tenor didn't want her to attend court, but she did anyways, and then he wouldn't shut up and be quiet, and she got held in contempt for him doing something. It was very weird.
Should share the judges' photos, their public photos, and maybe we could have a little fun digging on the two judges and their family, because we may actually need some of that stuff when.
Oh no, that's called a federal crime. He just suggested that they collect material to possibly blackmail two judges or their families.
We actually serve the judges, asking them what their jurisdiction is, and we, bring out all of their poop that them and their families have been involved with, which they probably won't want out in the public. So you think I should share those photos on the wall, Shelly? We could do some digging on the judges and their families. I mean, it's public knowledge.
And it's public, so it's public, right?
So this is just like the argument for like doxing, right? Like doxing typically is like when you get someone's address from, some type of public record. It's not illegal to get someone's address from, even where doxing is illegal. It's not illegal for me to look up who you are and get your address. What is illegal, what the actual act of doxing is not the looking up of the address or phone number or recent history. It's me publishing that, knowing that I'm publishing it with some type of malice intent. So if I just looked it up and I published it and I was like, hey guys, I didn't know that so-and-so lived in Minnesota. I live in Minnesota. That's one thing. If I'm like, oh, this is the bitch that's been talking about us. This is the horrible person that's been so mean to us. This is the person that's caused us all this headache. This is the person that's done this to us or that to us. Well, then of course those would be like leading someone to take some type of action and could lead to those charges. There is a lot of stuff that is again kind of gray area or completely legal. If it's a public record and I look it up, nothing's wrong with a public record. I'm the public, I can look it up. It's when you distribute that in some way and you know people are going to use it in that way to do some messed up stuff to somebody.
Well, I guess I'm just going to go look for those photos of the judges because they're on the public website, and I'm just sharing a picture of the two judges that signed our orders, the two douchebag, corrupt fucking judges.
See, just him saying like douchebag, corrupt, piece of shit, or you fucked up, blah, blah, blah. Him doing that and publishing it with somebody could find that as incriminating, as threatening.
That work for the corporation that we're about to fuck up.
That we're about to fuck up. That's another thing you don't want to include if you're publishing a picture of someone or information. I'm not saying he did anything to him or he attempted to. The problem is they look at, are you building intent? So if you're talking negatively about them, if you're telling your devout followers that they have some type of negative impact on you, they need to be stopped. Needs to all come to an end. They're pieces of shit. They're douchebags. They know what they're doing is illegal. It's time to take action. Stuff like that. It'll get you in a lot of hot water. I have to say that because I want YouTube to know that I don't agree with that, and I'm not putting that out there. I'm actually in the opposite YouTube, saying this is not okay. This is not all right.
You know, I just have to say.
That's where that clip ends. Let me grab the next one. There's two more, I think, and we'll grab both of those.
It's just, I mean, it's just beyond belief. I'm not worried one bit. I mean, I've done nothing wrong. The fact that you're on an online court and
so the claim is, I saw this in my chat, and Mark and I were talking about it at one point during chat. But the claim is that she personally doxed a bunch of people. And put all their information out there, names, address, family members, of a bunch of people who used to follow her, then decided they wanted to go a different way. That'd be like if everybody I've ever ran off or everybody that ever's unsubscribed from me, if I took all their information, just publicly put it out there, and it's like, this piece of shit doesn't think that we're worth hanging out with. Isn't that crazy, chat? And then just like left it at that. Of course, that would be bad.
And you have witnesses that can testify. Which I should have said, hey, these 200 people all need to be sworn in. Which she called Tina. So I guess you all guys are peanut gallery too. So anyway, so the fact of the matter is, I don't give two shits, and Kelly can go take it and spin on it because she's a effing liar. She's a psychopath. And when I get done with her, she'll be the one going to jail, not me.
Bill had your glasses on when he was live the other day. I don't know. I didn't see it. Anybody can have my glasses. They're if you're talking about the CBC glasses, they're actually a filter on Snapchat. So you can look them up. It's capital M, lowercase h, for Meat Hammer, and then space, and then capital G glasses. These glasses here. I put them on Snapchat and then sent them out and had a bunch of my followers send me pictures with them wearing them. It's still playing. There's just a pause here.
So the judges are shared on the wall. Might as well learn a little bit about our judges. I heard David Strait in one of his, it was absolutely.
We've covered David Strait on the regular show.
Brilliant. One of his videos that when he went to court, he learned all about the judge, and when they called him up, he said there's certain words, that pretty much let everybody know and the judge know that he wasn't fucking around. He came and meant business, and he was about to fuck them all up. And then he was just talking about the judge. Hey, judge, how's the house? Said the neighborhood he lived in. How's the kids in there? Yeah, he learned about their kids and the school they were going to. And that's going to make a judge shit in their
No, you could literally be if the normal person, if an average person would construe these statements as a threat. What he's talking about doing is saying, like, let's say you get a ticket and you go to court, and the judge's name is like Judge Smith, and you go in front of Judge Smith, and he's like, "What do you have to say for yourself?" And you're like, "How's Ronnie?" And he's like, "Ronnie who?" And he's like, "Ronnie, your neighbor at 1406 East Fairview Avenue, where you live. How's Ronnie?" What about how's the school system doing there at Grand Valley Elementary School? Isn't that where your kids go? If an average person would construe that as a threat, if an average person would think that was a threat, then you're going to take charges as a threat to that judge, a sitting judge, which is no slap on the wrist. Please don't do this.
We're going to, and that's going to make a judge shit in their fucking pants, and that's what I intend to do before August 10th.
God revealed.
There's one more before that one starts looping again. There's one more here.
With David Strait as far back as when we were in Pandora, Ohio. So this is how far back this goes.
Tanner has recently became pretty wrapped up in the David Strait stuff. I think isn't that the person that when him and Shelly broke up, didn't he go to a David Strait rally instead of a Trump rally? And he said that he was catching hell for that, but that's what he wanted. I mean, I don't care what rally he goes to, but he's recently became infatuated with David Strait instead of, or David Strait as well as Trump.
And, I've been listening to some of his stuff, and I'm like, it revs me up because I want to barge into like every fucking county office building and courthouse that I can and grab the judges by their fucking throats. And
oh no, YouTube, no threats of violence. That's not me. I'm just covering this,
so to speak. And so I was saying to Shelly, something says that I think this particular thing is happening because we have to be the example within our movement to show up in that court like fucking bosses that we are, that these little bitches, well, I can't even say that they work for us because they work for the corporation. But it's all pointing to that we're supposed to show up and embarrass the living fuck out of these corrupt motherfuckers. And I'm revved up right now. So August 5th is a rally. It looks like God laid out the itinerary because we're going to be just a couple hours from where that courthouse is, which just a week ago, I was like, fuck that. You can't catch me in fucking Minnesota again, unless there's a rally. And here we are right down the road from our court date on 81. Pretty ironic. I wasn't even thinking of that. 81. I know that number. Who's got court on 8/10/81, Shelly?
81. Shelly.
Okay.
Pretty interesting. So with the help of a few people, we may just have to show up in that courthouse and show them who the motherfucking bosses are. That's what I'm talking about.
How very Christian of you. Okay, so he's gonna. That's the last little clip I got. Well, I got more, but we're gonna move on. I guess to kind of put a bow on this first divorce we're talking about. Somehow the first part of this turned into the divorce portion of the show. I'm not taking sides because I think they're both crazy, but the split has certainly given me a lot of content to work off of. Okay. The split has certainly given me quite a bit of content to work with. It seems as if they are kind of going at each other.
Hello from Web.
Sorry, that was a sample that went through by accident. And I'm glad that her husband's actually getting away from it. I feel bad for the families, man. I feel bad for the first grandkids. I feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for the husbands and sometimes wives that are left at home while you're gallivanting around, doing your thing and chasing down negative 48 and what you believe is going to be JFK senior or junior and the Great Awakening, and I feel bad for the families. I think it's pretty messed up that they just uproot their life and went to follow this guy, and they don't know who this guy is. Just because he says that he's the Archangel Michael, that doesn't mean it's true, right? He just said it, and none of that has to do with anything. He left his own wife to run away and do this, and his own wife and family are struggling. And just because he keeps this harem of women around him doesn't mean that, I don't know. So we've talked about before, like sunken cost fallacy. Like I'm already in this so deep, whether it's true or not, I got to stay in it. I've already told my parents never to call me again unless they're believers, or my kids or whatever. I've already told all my family, you all don't fucking matter. I've got my new family now. I've already spent $30,000 in expenses and traveling and this and that. Or even when you have followers saying, I already told my followers I'd go to this. I already told them. I deal with that a lot. Like if I can't make a show, or one time we raised money, I was actually going to go to a presidential debate down in, I think it was at Nashville at the time, and I was going to stay with a buddy. And I just had a really bad day that day getting ready, and like my PTSD was like crazy and blah, 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 and I had to cancel it. And someone had paid for like me to buy gas and stuff like that. Like I felt really bad about that. You feel like you're already in it so deep you can't get out, but you can. And I'm sure most of your family would accept you back. And a whole lot less people will be looking at you side-eyed, and probably including a whole bunch of government investigatory fucking agencies. So be careful with that. I don't know. They're all like a tinderbox waiting to explode. And I think that's why people get mad when they say stuff like these people are on like terrorist watch lists and this and that. I'm sorry. You guys sound unhinged. Now, I do think that the current left uses it to their benefit, right? They try to play it up to their own benefit. Like the other day, I signed up for the text messages from Joe Biden's campaign, Trump too, but I just wanted to see what they said. The other day, I got this text message. It says, "It's Joe. Every election is a choice. As my dad used to say, don't compare me to the almighty. Compare me to the alternative. Take a look at congressional Republicans. What's their platform? MAGA Republicans don't just threaten our personal rights and economic security. They threaten our very democracy." So again, that would be like, instead of saying the radicals or the people who follow these radical beliefs, he's basically saying anybody who supports Donald Trump. And I don't think that's a very fair assessment. I voted for Donald Trump. I think Trump is probably a better president than Joe Biden. Like you can't even finish a speech. But when you lump everybody together, it's really hard. It's really hard to get any other outcome other than the one you want. And it's making these people clump together more, right? They're being ever compacted into smaller and smaller groups where they seem to get more radical and radical. Hell, my own audience at times will like radicalize, and I'll say something and none of them agree with me because they've already kind of reinforced themselves and had conversations and stuff. It's hard not to do it. But either way, congratulations to Shelly's husband. I'm glad. I mean, it sucks that a marriage of 31 years is collapsing, but it's probably the best thing that could happen to him, right? Congratulations. There we go. All right, we're going on to another divorce that has to do with conspiracy theories, Q's and the Anon. If you're wondering who I'm talking about, you won't be for long because it's actually, I touched on this on my regular show. It's actually Marjorie Taylor Greene and her husband, Perry Greene. So if you don't know, they have recently filed for divorce. Like I said, I kind of touched on this before. They have recently filed for divorce, or he has. But there seems to be some background to that, and that's what we're going to go through. So Perry Greene stated in court filings that his marriage is irrevocably broken and requested privacy during this time. The husband of controversial Georgia Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene filed for divorce Wednesday, stating his marriage is irrevocably broken. According to the divorce petition filed in Georgia Superior Court of Floyd County, the couple had already separated. So they've already been separated for a little bit. but not long. Perry Green, who married Marjorie Taylor in 1995, so they've been married for a while too, while they were both studying at the University of Georgia, asked for an equitable division of assets and debt, and that all future filings in the case be sealed to protect the couple's privacy. Quote, the court should allow all filings to be made under seal in this case because the parties' significant privacy interest in sealing the records outweighs the public's minuscule interest in access to said records. Now, there's a lot of people taking issue with that, like this stuff should be public. It's either public or not. By the way, I'm going to start calling her MTG because it's easier to say. But yeah, I think it should be public. Everybody else's divorce is public. No one's going to use your divorce for some type of attack. They're just going to make fun of you, and you don't want to be made fun of. Plus, we get to take a good, long look at your assets. The lawmaker, one of Donald Trump's allies, has often stressed her traditional values and stoked anger for her far-right political leanings. Marriage is a wonderful thing, and I'm a firm believer in it, she told Fox News in a written statement. Our society is formed by a husband and wife creating a family to nurture and protect. Together, Perry and I formed our family and raised 3 great kids. He gave me the best job title you can ever earn, Mom. I'll always be grateful for how great a dad he is to our children, she added. Perry Green also released a statement saying that MTG had been an amazing mother and friend. Our family is our most important thing we have done, he said. And as we go on our different paths, we will continue to focus on our 3 incredible children and their future endeavors and our friendship. Now, this is just like that's what came out, but that's not so much what's going on, okay? This is more like this is the PG version, the press release version. This is all make us look as good as we possibly can, right? This doesn't have, this isn't the half of what's going on. So if we go to this next story or this next article that I pulled up, we'll start here and we're going to talk about a couple different things. So you might hear some repeated, but this has got some new information in it as well. Here we go. Congresswoman MTG began divorce proceedings against her husband Perry while having an affair with a tantric sex guru. What? It just said that he filed for divorce. So why is it now saying that she began divorce proceedings against her husband Perry while having an affair with a tantric sex guru? Well, that's because in 2013, now they've talked about how good they are, how good they are together, how good this is. The best thing they could be is family and friends and the best mother, the best father. When 2013, she tried filing to divorce against him because she was having an affair with a tantric sex guru. The controversial Georgia Republican had a fling with a polyamorous sex guru, Craig Ivey, 42, in 2012 after meeting him in the gym in Alpharetta, Georgia. Now, I do have a photo of our sex guru while we're talking about him. Let me grab it right quick. Fully edited for YouTube and ready to go. This is our tantric sex guru. Now court papers obtained by dailymail.com reveal that Taylor Greene had planned to dump her husband Perry in July 2012, but reconciled with him 2 months later after having a change of heart. This is like, I'm not even making this up. Like, I know this would be an amazing joke. This is him. This is Chris Ivey, and this is from his Facebook page. This is his tantric sex guru, polyamorous relationships. That's him. That's how he takes a shower, apparently. Washing off all these hoes. He stands under that waterfall because bitch is always thirsty. Divorce papers filed in Atlanta show Taylor Greene blamed the marriage breakdown on their relationship being irreparably broken and demanded half of the couple's assets as well as custody of their 3 children. Now, again, this was the first time they filed. According to the papers, construction company boss Perry, 49, agreed to all of her demands and was willing to move forward with the divorce until it was abruptly halted in September of 2012. So it was abruptly halted in September of 2012. The court papers note that the pair had been able to reconcile, possibly because her affairs with Ivy, now it said affairs plural, and a second affair she was having with gym owner Justin Tway. Now, this would be our boy Justin Tway here hitting the squat rack, never skipping leg day. So she had a second affair with Justin Tway, had finally come to an end. Taylor Greene had been approached for comment. The 46-year-old was elected to Congress in November and boasts on her social media of her love of family values and being a strong conservative Christian. But the embattled politician has also proved controversial. By the way, she met both these guys at the same gym. And some gym goers are going to be quoted here in a minute. And the tantric sex guru guy, they claim was just kind of a fling. The gym owner, they said was serious. They wanted like relationship and like to not be seeing other people and all that nonsense. 46-year-old elected to Congress, conservative Christian. But the embattled politician has also proved controversial thanks to her belief in the QAnon conspiracy theory, which maintains that the Democrats are controlled by a shadowy cabal of pedo guys who have been known to eat children. The mom of three also faced criticism when it emerged that she had questioned whether the September attacks, that's all I'm going to say, the September attacks were even real, and had insisted that the school, multiple schools, the one that's a Hook and the one that's in Parkland, were both false flags operations designed to boost support for gun control. She was also vilified when a video emerged of her harassing Parkland survivor David Hogg, now 20, outside the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. She also, I don't know why they never include this quote, she also made a quote at one time about Jewish space lasers starting wildfires. Hold on, I'll see if I can find it. MTG. I think she posted about it. Like she shared someone's post, maybe. MTG's space laser and the age-old problem of blaming the Jews, when conspiracy theorists always end up pointing the finger at Jews and why there's a problem for the GOP. Let's get this out of the way. First-term rep MTG claimed that the 2018 California wildfires were ignited by a space laser controlled by a corporate cabal, including the Rothschild banking firm, is objectively ridiculous. It's okay to laugh about it. And yes, it is, at the same time, kind of horrifying. It's the latest in a long line of conspiracies about the Rothschild family, and those conspiracies are always at root anti-Semitic. Since the 19th century, people have used claims that this one particular wealthy family controls the world to cast aspersions on Jews in general. Nor is this an isolated anti-Semitic incident with Fort Greene. In December of 2018, she shared a video on her Facebook page, which features a prominent British anti-Semite explaining that Zionist supremacists have schemed to promote immigration and miscegenation. This is, I always have trouble pronouncing that. Miscegenation. This is a conspiracy theory that seemingly motivated the Pittsburgh synagogue shooters' rampage in October 2018. Less than 2 months before Green's post, despite concrete evidence that the ideas were endangering American Jews, Green chose to spread them anyways. So she does have an issue with conspiracy theories, and she has for a long time. I don't know why they don't bring up the laser one more. That's more interesting to me than any. Like, she thinks space lasers start wildfires to make firefighters look bad, or to, it can't be for gun control, right? I mean, it's a fucking, it's a wildfire, lady. Anyways, hey, what's up, John Frank? On Sunday, she was back at it on Twitter, writing, Joe Biden had 30,000 armed guards at his inauguration. He clearly believes in good guys with guns. Well, MTG, you don't know this, but our good friend, Derek Johnson, actually told us that those were Trump's troops because Biden was having a funeral. Now, I don't know if you want to believe that or not. I don't, but there you go. The best way to prevent school shootings is to repeal all gun-free zones and protect our kids like he protects himself. Despite her alleged belief in family values, Taylor Greene was notorious in her native Alpharetta, Georgia, for having multiple affairs despite being married to Perry since 95. It wasn't, quote, it wasn't a secret. Everyone who moved in her circles knew about both of the affairs. One man who worked closely with Taylor Greene told DailyMail.com. And her boss, billionaire's grandson, Jim Chambers, added, she socialized a lot with us. I remember one particular pool party where she was lying draped over Craig's lap, drinking a beer. Oh no, everybody knew about it. She was quite open about it, he added. We all thought her marriage was falling apart. But then I took my son to her son's birthday party, and things seemed totally normal between her and her husband, even if they were a little lukewarm. Neither man denied having affairs when approached by DailyMail.com. Ivy, who's the guru, who calls himself the Tantric Warrior on social media, said, quote, I will not respond to anything about this before threatening to call the police on a DailyMail.com reporter. Tway, the gym owner, said, I have no interest in talking about anything to do with that woman. Everything with her comes to no good. So they don't seem very happy with her still. Everything with her comes to no good. Damn. Ric Flair drip go, whoo, on a bitch. Taylor Greene and Ivy are understood to have begun their affair shortly after starting working together at Chambers Alpharetta Gym. By the way, so the Chambers guy they're talking about is the boss of the gym boss. Tway owns it. Chambers runs it, I guess. There's a couple more pictures here. Joe Biden tweet, and it says, I know about it because I was a member of the gym, said one man who asked to not be identified. Certainly, she was screwing around. Guys talk, and I know there was definitely sex involved. People don't make up stuff like that. They were spending a lot of time together, turning up at the gym in the same car. When I would suggest going out, Craig would say he had things to do with Marjorie. When the fling was with Ivy ended, Taylor Greene moved on to Tway, who was going through a divorce of his own at the time. This seemed much more serious than the affair with Craig, said Chambers. That was more of a flirty thing. But with Justin Tway, she seemed to have designs on a more long-term relationship. My impression is that she knew he might take over the gym, and she wanted to be there right alongside him. Tway is now, so that seems to kind of be, that kind of seems to be the her MO. So right, she talks about being like a businesswoman in construction. Well, it's her husband's construction business, and they gave her a position just to make her look good on tax documents. But she's like, it looks like she tries to claw her way to the top over what man's going to the top, and can she sleep with him? Tway is now happily married to his wife, Sherry, who he met long after his affair with Taylor Greene, and still runs a gym in Atlanta. It's got multiple pictures of their family and stuff. Ivy, meanwhile, is currently living in a beaten-up trailer in Renton, Washington, and has parked it at a friend's garden. Oh, sounds like my life. Fuck. I ended up living in a fucking a travel trailer, camper. Ivy, meanwhile, is currently living in a beaten-up trailer in Renton, Washington, and has parked it in a friend's garden. Although he had claimed to be working for 2 Seattle area gyms on his social media pages, he is actually running a gladiator-style boot camp called the Ludus, where he teaches sword fighting. So basically, I looked this guy up on Facebook because they were talking about his Facebook and how he's talking about making his own armor and stuff. He's a guy who likes to dress up in armor and sword fight, okay? And from that, he likes to play like Gladiator, basically. If you've seen the movie Gladiator, it's kind of like that. They even use a lot of the pictures from Gladiator. he started training people to fight in this way. He started training people to fight in this way, and that's how he makes his money. And he's like on the Facebook page, he's got his schedule out. It says, "Hey, Ludus family, I'm currently rescheduling since I have not seen most of the Ludus coming on Tuesdays or Thursdays anymore. This is what I have right now. Johnny Porter said he will take the time slot. So right now the group is still on it. However, I shortened the time. If you are planning to regroup the Seattle members, please contact me." Then there's a couple posts of him like in some of his homemade armor, and it says Craig Ivey and Johnny Porter at the Fresno Highland Classic. Their team won. Dominus. Train locally with Craig in South Prairie, Washington, and train with Johnny in South Seattle, Washington. One of the best days. We'll get a big Ludus training crew happening again. One of these days, not the best. One of these days, we'll get a big crew happening again. Craig and Brett Skinner are doing training sesh in Orlando first week of October. And then it's like they go to Renaissance fairs and fight, I guess. They go to they go to Renaissance fairs and fight, and they train people. And he's also living in we got a video. I should be able to pull this one up. I don't play a whole lot of videos on this. This is a new show, by the way, for anybody who's like, why the fuck is he acting weird? This is a new show called What You Recently Missed. Here we go, guys. Here we go. So this is what they do. That music is probably going to get me copyright struck, isn't it? That music is, I don't know who that music is, but here we go. I'll do sound effects. Ting to ting, clacks, clack. Ting to ting, ting to ting. String, ting, ting, ting to ting. Okay. The guy with the sun shield looks like he's a little bit better than the other guy. So it isn't like LARPing where they likely use like foam equipment and pretend to hurt each other. Like this is honestly like boxing or something, or fencing, I guess, right? Or fencing. There's rules and there's points you make and there's this and that. I don't know if they make you like hop around on one leg if someone cuts your leg off or whatever. But yeah, there's rules to it. It's scored kind of like boxing, and they do this for a while. I mean, I'm sure it's something to do, and you probably need adequate training. I don't know that it probably pays the best unless your schedule's like chocked full or you're training like the top contenders in the world, maybe. But this is what they do. Ting, 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 ting. Crunch. I don't know where the crunch comes. Somebody's eating cereal off camera. I don't know where that music come from, or I just let it play. But it was very dramatic music, wasn't it? Dun, 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 dun. People are recording it. Oh, this guy's tired as shit. I would imagine just being that heavy with all that weight on would probably be exhausting, much less trying to fight somebody in it. That's pretty wild. Anyways, that's what our boy Craig does now. So let's swap these back, and we'll go back to actually let's get up that since we're talking about her. We'll get up MTG and her husband. There we go. Okay. Back to our story. Though he claimed to be working at 2 Seattle gyms, on his social media pages, he is actually running a gladiator-style boot camp called the Ludus, where he teaches sword fighting. Next month, he is due to move into a new home in Buckley, Washington, with his wealthy girlfriend, Katie Kovacic, 48, and another couple. The foursomes say they plan to create a polyamorous commune on the 40-acre property and install tiny homes for future residents. So they're making a cult, okay? They're making a cult with his wealthy girlfriend, and it's going to be a polyamorous commune. nudity required. Avi is also a member of a historical fighting team called the Warlords White and likes to boast of his prowess at creating homemade armor on his social media accounts. So seems like the world's going pretty good for them. But the MTG divorce is not as simple as people think. So they've already tried to file for divorce once. She did. She tried to file on him in 2013. She wanted half of everything plus the kids. And that was because she was in multiple affairs. He agreed to it. Then it got stopped. And now more recently, he's filing. And in his filing, they just want everything kept quiet. And it doesn't say why. I was under the impression the first time I talked about this that these affairs were like recent. And that was the reason. But no, the affairs was the reason probably for the first one. And now the second one, it doesn't list anything. So it's hard to say, other than that they've got differences, which who doesn't have differences? So this current one's hard to say, but it's not the first time they've been through this rodeo. And now that they went as far as it's like public and out there, I would say they're going to go through with it, and she's going to be divorced shortly. So that's our two, conspiracy queens, going through divorce. Good luck to you. Don't let those Jewish space lasers mess up your divorce, okay? Stay with it. Stay with it. All right, moving on to the next topic. Let's talk about, let me close that and change this around. So if you know who Destiny is, we talked about Kiwi Farms. We talked about Destiny. We talked about Keffals. Now, at the time, now be careful in the chat. I don't want my channel to get banned. And we do know that some of these people we're going to be talking about are heavily protected. That's the other warning you get. If you say something's going to get me banned, you're going to get in trouble. What's up, executive? It seemed that Kiwi Farms was banned because it seemed like the media was directly linking them to 3 unaliving events. Keffals stood up, tried to get them banned. She's kind of hailed as a trans activist, I guess you would call her. So Destiny does a stream yesterday that completely destroys her credibility. I think it destroys her credibility completely. So I'm gonna read. He made a manifesto. I'm gonna read some of this. Let's start with like the opening paragraph, okay, and then we'll jump to the sections. For the last 6 years, progressive and conservatives have waged a vicious war with one another across cyberspace, with cultural, political, and advertiser pressure bearing down on those social media platforms. Conservatives have slowly found themselves on the losing end of the digital battlefield in the ongoing culture war. As their role flips from oppressee to oppressor, progressives have sometimes found themselves embracing many of the same styles of aggression conservatives once engaged in. This is kind of like the theory that there's no bad tactics, only bad targets. This is going to be cataloging of the past year, a demonstration of what happens when communities fail to hold their own members responsible, and what comes of the belief that there are no bad tactics, only bad targets. This is going to be a careful documentation of lies, scams, threats, bullying, doxing, and an utter lack of accountability. Over the years, I have worried about the types of tactics endorsed by progressive communities, the uncomfortable distorting of narratives, and the grotesque shape-shifting of facts, and the general inability to hold themselves to a decent standard of behavioral conduct. I've been worried that the right combination of identity politics combined with a holy mandate from members of the media may empower deplorable actors to become the new representatives of our movement, with no one left to put the brakes on their treachery. The prevailing narrative circling Kiwi Farms and Keffals is wrong. It is not the story of a downtrodden trans activist supported by righteous members of the media battling against an evil empire of militant Nazis and transphobes. Rather, it is the tale of an internet bully given far too much power on a mission to seek fame and fortune by building a career through vicious conflict born out of lies and disinformation. We have allowed ourselves to gaze into the abyss for far too long, and Keffals is the result. So basically what he's saying is like a lot of this stuff is, it's taken out of context. It's over the top. It's only given one-way narrative. Now I'm not going to add a whole lot to this, okay? Because I don't want to step anywhere near deplatforming myself because I said something that isn't acceptable. Instead, I think Destiny does a really good job of presenting this professionally and in a way that most people can understand it, as well as not crossing that line. So I'm going to use a lot of what he wrote in his manifesto. In this exposition, I'm looking to upend the prevailing media narrative through establishing a clear record of truth with regard to these key points. 1. Keffals' initial rise to fame was through internet bullying and lies, not through righteous activism. 2. There's not enough evidence to support the claim that Kiwi Farms has bullied anyone to unaliving themselves. So that's a new claim. I didn't hear that. 3. Kiwi Farms was likely not the main culprit behind most of the Keffals harassment, which is a new deal. Keffals grossly misrepresented the events justifying her GoFundMe, and the do-it-yourself hormone replacement therapy directory, which had Keffals' full social and monetary support, engages in grossly irresponsible behavior with minors. Okay. So he goes on here to talk about the rise of Keffals, better known as Clara Sorrente. And it says Clara Sorrente, better known as Keffals, is a Twitch.tv streamer and avid Twitter user. She is known a bit for her trans activism and a lot for her aggressive brigading against social and political targets on Twitter. So brigading is like when you send a bunch of people over to like, dislike, leave a certain comment, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like a hate raid on Twitter. Now, she claims to be the victims of this a lot, but it seems like she's also the perpetrator of this quite a bit. After her short stint in real-life politics, Sorrente began her online career in March of 2020 on Twitch.tv. Just a handful of viewers streaming games such as Raft, Valheim, and Fallout New Vegas. A wave of anti-trans legislation sweeping through the United States inspired her to switch her streaming content over to focus on politics, with her eventually raising over $200,000 for the campaign for Southern equality to protect trans youth. She now regularly streams to over 1,000 concurrent viewers. So she's a big streamer. She made a name for herself on social media by directing her Twitch.tv chat to brigade targets, sometimes even on her alternate accounts to get past blocks by, quote, ratioing them on Twitter. Ratioing is when Twitter users interact with another user either through a direct comment or a quote tweet and surpass the original tweet in likes and engagement. So basically, if someone's like, you got ratioed, it means that you made a post, someone either responded to it or replied to it or whatever, and the reply that you made got more likes or shares or comments than the original post. That's called a ratioing. Sorrente's Twitter behavior typically involves her streaming her interactions with conservative or anti-trans individuals on Twitter, encouraging her audience to engage in bullying and harassment against whoever she sets her eyes on, sometimes even asking another large creators for assistance. On March 22nd, she had her sight on Ian Miles Chung, an active anti-SJW famous from being before the days of Gamergate. For hours, Sorrente would go back and forth with Ian on Twitter while coordinating the brigading on her Twitch stream. At approximately 2050 UTC, her Twitch stream would get hate rated. So at approximately 2050 UTC time, she got an influx of people that came in there just to talk crap to her, a hate raid, right? A moderator of Keffals, Sulio, a Twitch user who has urged other streamers to cut ties with me in the past, talking about Destiny, would eventually blame my community for this. Their evidence, they're seeing me quote tweet a friend of Sorrente's on Twitter 2 hours after the hate raid, which I was accused of causing. So Destiny had nothing to do with this. This is one of the claims that she's made against Destiny over and over again. Their evidence happened 2 hours after the hate raid happened. Sorrenti quoted my tweet at 2317 UTC in an attempt to get my account reported and banned. The only evidence Sorrenti would ever provide for the claim that my community hate raided her was that she shut down the raiders by auto-banning anyone who followed my channel. I was, at the time, the second largest political streamer on Twitch, with over 650,000 followers. It should be no surprise that auto-banning all of my followers would slow down any new raiders, as the same effect would likely have been achieved if she'd banned Hassan or Vosh. They were the number 1 and number 3 political streamers at the time. Furthermore, it is not the case that every person's following me on a platform where I have hundreds of thousands of followers is a fan of mine. If I were to have directed a hate raid, it would have certainly far exceeded the handful of chatters who showed up to harass her. All right, so that was the first time they had this little claim, this little interaction, whatever. That's that. We'll go, if we need to go more in depth in this, we'll do it on the CBC Anon channel. Make sure you subscribe to my other YouTube channel where this show right here is just going to be a weekly show on Saturdays. I know today's Sunday. I missed yesterday, but make sure you subscribe to my main channel if you want to go more in depth in any of these. I'm going to skip ahead some. So we know that she likes to brigade. She likes to claim other people are doing it to her with no proof. And she's literally the one doing it. She doesn't necessarily hate raid on Twitch, but she does the exact same thing on Twitter. So what's the difference? So then it says, Keffals. Thank you for the 100 bits.
Impact shared X400.
Oh, that's Executive Impact. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. I'm glad you guys survived the storm. I was telling everybody in chat the other day that I talked to you. On March 23rd, she claimed, so this is a claim that she made about Destiny. And the claim is that he stealths people, which she says, she claimed I, quote, stealth people, which is legitimately a form of rape. And he has the clip here, okay?
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of rape.
So that's a pretty strong accusation.
Insane. Insane shit.
Now, what a stealth is like when you're in the throes of lovemaking with someone and they think you're wearing a condom and you are wearing a condom, or you either hide it or you slide it off, take it off without letting them do it. Okay. So that's a pretty extreme claim that Destiny is stealthing people, and that is actually a form of the R word. That's a pretty big claim, especially when there's literally no evidence for it. Destiny says, I have never stealthed or graped anyone ever. This is an absolute baseless and malicious accusation stated with no evidence. She softly walks this back later. On March 24th, she claimed that I said, quote, if a trans woman does not disclose she's trans before having sex with someone, that they're a rapist. He's got the clip for that too. I'm not going to open every clip. I have never stated what a trans person failing to disclose their trans identity before having sex with someone makes them a rapist. This claim can be referenced in tweets I made saying that you should not surprise someone with a set of genitals they are not expecting. During that discourse, I explicitly made a carve out for people who were post-op, so her framing of my take was complete and total lie. On March 24th, she claimed I was, quote, literally defending a neo-Nazi who called her a man. Like, I didn't know she had made all these. There's like tons of claims in here. Some of them are like crazy over the top. And I didn't know she made all these because I know just from the little bit that I watch Destiny, I'm not like a mega fan or anything. I know that a lot of this isn't true. She claimed that I was literally defending a neo-Nazi who called her a man. I have never retweeted, liked, nor endorsed any transphobic attacks against her. All forms of transphobia are banned from my chat rooms and my Discord. I disavowed her original tweet, and my subreddit Reddit was critical of it as well. On March 24th, she claimed I was showing support for Kiwi Farms while my chat actively attempts to dox her. All forms of transphobia are banned from my chat rooms and my Discord. YouTube chat is a bit harder to moderate due to limited moderation tools, but anyone making threats or comments like those are instantly banned by moderators. On March 30th, she claimed I, quote, marked her for being a childhood grooming victim. I have never mocked her for being a childhood grooming victim. I was mocking her for constantly bending stories and narratives to suit whatever she was currently fighting about online. And he's got proofs linked in all this. I've got the link to his manifesto. I'll put it in Telegram or something if you want to see it. Uh-oh. There's another 200 bits. Executive impact. I wonder why I didn't read that one that time. Thank you very much for the bits. I appreciate it. On May, so now we're jumping to May. On May 17th, she claimed, I let my audience mock her genitals. I have never retweeted, liked, nor endorsed any transphobic attacks against her. All forms of transphobia are banned from my chat rooms and my Discord. She doesn't even give an example of this, so he really doesn't have a way to defend it. She just says it. Now, you'll notice one of the themes that she seems to have is saying these over-the-top crazy statements and then pulling them back, okay? I have, on July 18th, she claimed I was directing people to Kiwi Farms to harass her with deceptively cut screenshot. I have never directed people to Kiwi Farms to harass her. I've linked the site one single time in my offline chat on July 1st. I was linking it to demonstrate that the harassment she was receiving was coming from Kiwi Farms and not from my community, as she claimed. I was doing this in response to her claiming multiple times on June 30th, with no evidence, that my community was the primary one harassing her, despite her extensive and quickly growing Kiwi Farms thread. So Destiny's community was not harassing her, even though she kept claiming it. Even in the screenshot, she shows kiwifarms.net is clearly a banned phrase in my chat. You can't say it. On August 21st, she claimed I actively lurk on her Kiwi Farms thread and blames me for her getting doxxed and swatted. I've never made a post in that thread. Most of the information I received comes from secondhand through Discord or Twitter. I have not posted the thread link in my chat multiple times, nor have I ever engaged my viewers to get involved. On August 25th, she claimed, I am the reason Kiwi Farms found out about her. I myself am the victim of Kiwi Farms harassment. I have been for about 5 years. It is inconceivable that I could be held responsible for threads created on Kiwi Farms. I had no hand in creating. Originally, on August 21st, Keffals seemed to have completely different idea about who started the feud with Kiwi Farms and said it was because she started doing Twitter ratios. And that's why Kiwi Farms is digging up every little thing on her in the past 28 years of her life. On September 12th, she claimed I am best friends with a white nationalist extremist and used a photoshopped picture of me and Nick Fuentes as evidence. So she used a photoshopped picture to prove that they were friends, which wasn't true. And that's not the only time that she's going to use a Photoshop picture. She uses the same thing against someone else she's arguing with, which we'll talk about in a second. She Photoshops and openly admits to shopping DMs in her Twitch show. She's saying, I'm going to Photoshop these, but nobody on Twitter will know. Like she's Photoshopping messages to attack people with on Twitter. W.Y.R.M with 1,000 bits. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. 1,000 bits. Cheer 1,000. Cheer 200. Thank you guys. One of them from Executive was 400. I think I said 100. Thank you for the 400 bits, Executive. I think I said 100, but thank you. I have never been best friends with white nationalist extremists. This picture is ironically edited by a Groiper, a Nick Fuentes fan. That's who she's speaking about, Nick Fuentes. I have aggressively debated Fuentes almost every interaction that I've had, and then he has 16 links to all the debates he's done. September 12th, she claimed I threatened to grape women and posted burning crucifixes in the replies of black people in reference to tweets I'd made back in 2016. I have never threatened to grape anyone. I made an incredibly inappropriate... There it is. 200 more bits. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I have never threatened to grape anyone. I made an incredibly inappropriate tweet towards someone 7 years ago during a heated exchange, but it was not a grape threat. I've since apologized for it and recognized it was not appropriate behavior. Now, by the way, he does have a screenshot of this, and I'll give you the rundown of it. Basically, he tells someone to unalive themselves and he hopes that they get graped with a shovel until they die. And he's apologized for this and said it was terribly inappropriate, but he didn't threaten that he was going to do it, right? Oh, they got a hop train going. Thank you very much. I wasn't even paying attention. I'd have to go over here and look at it. Oh, yeah. The burning crucifix image was posted once, and it was during a period where I was fighting with black nationalists who were trivializing historical and contemporary racism on Twitter. So basically, these black nationalists on Twitter were saying, I don't understand why everybody thinks it's so bad to be black in America. It's fucking lit. And Destiny says, lit, you say, and shares a burning cross, and then jumps in the comments to tell them all this stuff is going wrong.
Executive_impact shared X300.
How come sometimes the text-to speech works and sometimes it doesn't? Thank you very much, by the way. But that's weird. Thank you for the donation. Oh, there's a bunch of people donating now. Thank you, guys. That was Oxy and Executive, Oxytropus and Executive with 300, Oxytropus with 200. Thank you very much. He was actually arguing with black nationalists that it wasn't that bad being black in America. And he was trying to say, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. You're lying. Sorrenti made every effort to inhibit me from covering anything related to her. She continuously attempts to discredit me by making false claims about my reporting or repeatedly claiming that I'm associated with Kiwi Farms or its owners, Joshua Moon. On July 18th, she claimed that, quote, Noel has my back while reading what is obviously a troll post on Kiwi Farms. So Destiny went into the Kiwi Farms account, and people were like, you're going to get banned. You're going to get thrown out here. And Destiny says, Noel, which is Josh Moon, has my back. We used to play video games together or something like that. It's obviously a troll post. So he's got all these claims and all this evidence again and again and again and again and again. But we'll skip out of that. I know it's getting kind of boring. But there's just so much evidence to stuff that she lied about. All right. So here's the interesting part. So I repeated this from a mainstream media article, a couple of them, that Kiwi Farms could be responsible for the unaliving events of several people. Uh-oh, there's a subscription. Thank you very much. Executive Impact.
Executive_impact just resubscribed for 8 months.
I got it. Hop Train. Thank you very much. There's even more. Dr. J Banana with 200 bits. Thank you. Level 1 complete. I appreciate it, guys. All right, so here's the part about Kiwi Farms that doesn't seem to be true. They claim that Kiwi Farms drove at least 3 people to unaliving themselves. That doesn't seem to be true. It says Kiwi Farms, blah, 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 central hub for users to collect. These days, however, Kiwi Farms serves as a central hub for users to collect information about eccentric online individuals known colloquially on the forum as lol cows. They tend to target transgender individuals as well as people who seem to be suffering from some form of mental illness. The targets of these threads range from far left to far right and everything in between, with no individual being off limits in the forum. So they cover right-wing and left-wing people. Fatal error, action number 1. What is this? Thank you very much for that. I don't know, my thing just went crazy. My animation software just went crazy, so I don't know if it's going to keep working or not. But thank you very much, Karen. 200 bits. Dr. J Banana, I think I read that one. 200 bits. My animation software just went crazy. Executive for 200 bits. Said I had a fatal error. Thank you very much for that. It's not even connected to OBS right now. Sammy has crashed 3 times. What is going on? Sorry, that's Sammy's the thing that I use. The thing that I use for my animation stuff. Yeah, it's not going to connect. I'll just end it. The process right now. Thank you guys for the donations. I'm not sure what caused Sammy to mess up, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Gone Postal with
73 cheered X 500 bits check, bits check.
Thank you very much. This is 500 bits, Gone Postal 73. Karen with 200 bits. Executive with 200 bits. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I don't know what caused all the issues there. Donations broke the stream. It looks like it. And there is Andrew back with 200 bits. Thank you. I appreciate it, Andrew. That's a 68% hype train. Jesus. Thank you for all the bits. All right, so they cover people from both sides, left and right. The forum has garnered a notorious reputation for bullying and harassment and has been blamed by several media outlets for having driven at least 2 individuals to unaliving themselves, with some claiming 3 were. It's quite common for threads to be spun out of pre-existing threads, so that's how her thread only got started because she came on Destiny's stream and people saw her on Destiny's stream. She wasn't that recognizable, and that's why she kind of blames Destiny for it, okay? Kiwi Farms being hateful, transphobic, are not without merit. It is undeniable that much harassment has stemmed from the forum and is much as undeniably transphobic in nature, with every person on the thread constantly engaging in transphobic attacks against her. While Sorrenti has a right to have her personal qualms with Kiwi Farms, many of the largest accusations she's levied against the forum are unsubstantiated at best, or outright lies at worst. All right, so one of the first people was Chloe Sagal. All right, Chloe Sagal. By the way, it does say, it is important to note that none of this additional information I'm about to provide is an attempt at character assassination. It is done solely for the purpose of further understanding the deeply unfortunate and complex circumstances that may eventually lead to an unaliving. This is done in order to shed light on reality behind the claims made by Keffals. Okay, so here we go. Chloe Sagal was known originally as an indie game developer who worked on a small indie titles such as Homesick and Supernova versus the Dinosaurs. Her first dip into internet notoriety, however, would come from starting a donation drive on Indiegogo in April 2013. According to Eurogamer, Sagal lied about contracting metal poisoning after a car accident in order to raise funds for a sex reassignment surgery. All right, so she lied on a fundraising site like GoFundMe, but it's Indiegogo, about metal poisoning. There was no metal poisoning. There was no car accident. Penzoff, a writer for Destructoid, originally wrote an article. Oh, I got an emote. I'll share it with you guys. Choo choo. Thank you for the hop train. It's been a long time since we had a hop train in here. Penzoff, a writer for Destructoid, originally wrote an article supporting Sagal's Indiegogo. After it was personally revealed to him that the fundraiser was actually a scam, he revealed as much on Twitter and was fired from Destructoid for outing Sagal as trans. Sagal would fight about the funds for some years afterwards, trying to claim that PayPal was scamming her, even reaching out to Brianna Wu in 2015 before being shot down for help. She would later complain on Facebook to Ahuvia Harrell, a somewhat notable figure in the Gamergate era, that the trans community turned their back on her. So she tried lying to get donations, claimed she was in a car wreck and got metal poisoning, but actually she was trying to do sex reassignment surgery. On July 16, 2018, Sagal would be taken into police station after a wellness check had been called on her. Officers had found her with a machete when they arrived, but they were able to defuse the situation before taking her to Unity Center for Behavioral Health in an ambulance, where she was released shortly after. On the morning of June 19, 2018, Sagal limped. Thank you very much, Executive. That's 200 more bits. Thank you for that. June 19, 2018, Sagal limped out of her Portland apartment on crutches, making her way to a nearby park. Once there, she read a statement about her struggle with homeless and mental health issues before covering herself in gasoline and setting herself on fire. So even at the time of her unaliving, she made this big ordeal to talk about homelessness, mental health disorders, and the trans community, and then she unalived herself. Her note that she left was published by a close friend of hers, and it says, "My death cannot be silent. It has to be loud and political. My entire life, my experience, my education has led up to this moment. I can only expect trauma and death from my existence." It added at the end, "Whoever needs my van and things in it should have it." Despite the fact that harassment from Kiwi Farms was not mentioned in the note and does not appear to have played a crucial role in her unaliving. The Oregonian, the Daily Dot, and Variety all mention it extensively. Sagal had an active thread from 2017 or from April 27, 2015 to December 12, 2017. The thread was dying 8 months. The thread died and no one posted in there. Like the thread died, right? 8 months before she unalived herself. Sagal had attempted once before in May 2013 on her Twitch stream and threatened again in Twitter messages to an online figure in January 2015. Both of those attempts occurred before Kiwi Farms even started a threat on her. When asked what Sagal was like by a journalist, a close friend described her as such. For most of her life, she dealt with abuse and depression, sensory hell, and executive dysfunction from autism, chronic pain and seizures, and I'm not sure ever got fully diagnosed. It's the hardest time. She needed full-time care and support, and I didn't have the resources to provide that. The state didn't seem to either. She spent most of her time in, I mean, it's horrible for this person, right? But they're trying, I do think it proves that Kiwi Farms had little to nothing to do with it. One must conclude that Sagal's unaliving was likely the culmination of abuse, mental illness, and homelessness suffered throughout her life. A prior partner who had dated her for 2 years confirmed as much on Twitter, echoing that. Her unaliving note specifically referenced systematic struggles and maintaining a home and adequate mental health with low income being the reason she unalived herself to send a message. The claim or implication that Sagal's unaliving was driven solely or primarily from Kiwi Farms harassment is unsubstantiated, insensitive, and irresponsible, and it completely trivializes or erases the political statement. So this is the part I was interested in. There's one out of the three that probably had nothing to do with Kiwi Farms. The next one I'll kind of paraphrase. Julie Terryberry was a young 19-year-old woman who documented many of her thoughts and much of her life on a publicly viewable OkCupid profile. Terryberry claimed to be dealing with depression, ADHD, autism, Asperger's, anxiety, and unaliving thoughts. She lived in a furnished room in her house, complained about ants, and posted pictures that resembled those of a hoarder. By 18, she had already had 7 cavities from drinking too much juice and neglecting her dental health. She'd written about her brother attempting to assault her when she was 11.
Executive_impact shared X400.
Damn, that's a lot of bits. Thank you again. That's 400 more bits. Thank you. I appreciate it. She made out with her stepsister, talked about heroin, her uncle doing heroin and trying to show his private parts to her. Just a really rough life at home. Kiwi Farms discovered her and created a thread about her on February 6, 2016. Terryberry discovered her thread a few weeks after it was created and would continuously taunt farmers on her Facebook. She posted on her Fet Life that she laughed at it and told them to do a better job at getting the story straight. Her and Mike's relationship became more tumultuous, so Mike's her significant other, with her wishing they lived together and simultaneously having outbursts regarding their fights. He would cheat on her many times, but when she cheated on him, she was forced to write an essay in order for them to stay together. She would finally commit unaliving by hanging herself in her grandmother's furnace room after Mike finally broke up with her. So it seems like the biggest factor with her was a lot of trauma, a lot of family issues, a lot of mental health issues, and finally, her boyfriend breaking up with her. Terryberry reached out to me to add her experience. An individual wishing to remain anonymous who attended the same school as Terryberry reached out to me to add her experience. I only knew her when she was a kid. We went to elementary school together. She was a couple years younger than me. I rarely interacted with her, but I remember a few weird things. She was a sweet girl, but kind of off. Would act out and would just exhibit weird behavior for a kid. She really didn't have a lot of friends, if any. She basically just kept to herself. I know she came from a very poor and troubled home. Her parents, I suspect, were doing drugs and were pretty and uninvolved in her life. I grew up across the street from her, from our elementary school, and my mom would take me and a couple of friends to the playground there on the weekends, and I remember we saw her there a few times all by herself without her parents or anyone watching her. My mom became pretty concerned about her. I remember we gave her and her family some of my hand-me-down clothes and toys. After I went to high school, I never saw her or heard about her again until she died. I didn't have her on social media, and neither did any of my friends, so I don't know what she was posting. I didn't even know that she was being posted about on Kiwi Farms until like 2 days ago when I read a post on your subreddit that mentioned her name. I was completely mind-fucked by it. My friends and I'd all just assumed her death was an unaliving or something drug-related, but we never looked into it. So again, I really wasn't that close to her, especially in later years when all this was happening. So I can't tell you 100% confidence that Kiwi Farms had nothing to do with it, but I can tell you she was clearly mentally ill and troubled even from a young age and didn't have a support system around her. So in my opinion, just from what I know about her situation, this was going to happen with or without Kiwi Farms. It makes me feel sick that Keffals and other people are using her to push some weird agenda. Julie had a very hard life. She doesn't need to be used as some pawn in some weird fucking clout game. People just need to leave her alone and let her memory rest. And he ends it by saying, Julie's life was a mess, likely from birth. She'd been sexually exploited by multiple family members, likely had drug problems throughout her entire family, and had an unstable living condition, and chased a horribly one-sided relationships her entire life, with previous partners enacting physical abuse on her as part of her lifestyle. The claim or implication that Julie's unaliving was driven solely or primarily by Kiwi Farms harassment is unsubstantiated, insensitive, and irresponsible. So it happened immediately after her longtime boyfriend left her. So it probably had to do with that. Okay. The last one is a guy named David Grinder. And all I want to tell you about it is you can't even prove that this is a person who is no longer alive. In fact, there may be evidence to the contrary that that this guy is actually still alive and he only did this to disappear from the internet. It's so incredible to think that many journalists spending so many years have so thoughtlessly attributed. Oh, sorry. Let me jump up a couple paragraphs. Grinder claimed to be ready to give their life savings, $120,000 to Noel, which is the Josh Moon. Where are the proceedings to settle Grinder's estate? Grinder's widower husband hasn't made any public statements about their death. Neither has Grinder's family. The only two people who have confirmed the death of Grinder's or his, quote, friends, Hector, an employee who's provided zero evidence of the death. All we have from Hector are ambiguous tweets, and all we have from Wayne Beckett, Grinder's employer, are bizarre ramblings on Kiwi Farms. In these ramblings, Beckett attempts to debate Kiwi farmers into believing that Grinder is dead, as well as utilizing really out-of-place terminology given the subject matter, such as crikey and mic drop, but he spells it M-I-K-E. Kotaku, Clutch Points, IGN, GameSpot, GameRant, and Vice all reported that Grinder was deceased. However, every single publication was simply uncritically reporting on the same tweets by Hector, where Grinder was proclaimed deceased with zero direct evidence provided. USA Today at least included a statement by Grinder's previous employer, Wayne Beckett, about his death, but oddly, Wayne stated that Grinder didn't explicitly name Kiwi Farms when opening up about the online harassment they were receiving. Unless some evidence is presented or someone credible comes forward, it is difficult to conclude with any certainty that Grinder is actually even dead. It's plausible that they unalived the online personality he was called Near online, to escape the pressure they were facing online, which is consistent with their history of deleting and recreating accounts in the past. All that would be needed to prove they actually died or passed away would be if Hector or some close friends of Grinder's posted any form of official documentation proving their passing. It's incredible to think that so many journalists spanning so many years have so thoughtlessly attributed 3 unalivings to Kiwi Farms. Hardly any of the research done on any of these individuals was gathered via the media sources. Instead, I had to dig through archives on 4chan and Kiwi Farms thread to understand what was really going on. Not a single journalist seemed willing to do any homework beyond copying the work of the other journalists before them. In the end, the 3 unalivings caused by Kiwi Farms ended up being 2 misrepresentations and 1 unconfirmed case. So it doesn't even look like you can even count this. It doesn't even look like you can count this at all. The last one. And the other two seems like you can chalk them up to all kinds of stuff. So we might get more in depth on this Keffals stuff on my regular show. Make sure you follow the main channel, CBC and on, or if you're on Twitch, just follow this channel, Cold Beer Confessional. We might get more in depth in this because there's even there's issues with her swatting she called in. There's issues with her GoFundMe and what she's using this for. Apparently, it's for helping her move, replacing her phones and computers that the police seized, but then they gave them back to her. So why do you need to replace them? And a legal fund, but she doesn't plan on suing anybody. So the legal fund just seems to maybe be her fund to jet set around Europe on vacation, which seems very, very strange. Yeah, you guys let me know. It's over 100,000. The original GoFundMe was for 200,000, though she continues to raise the goal. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it's over $100,000. Jesus, that's screenshots of it. Let's see. So she got swatted and said that she needed money to move. And she also said that the police had seized her phones and computers and they needed phones and computers. And this was going to be her legal fund to, I'm assuming, sue. But now it seems like she said she wasn't suing at all. And now she's traveling around Europe. Now she's traveling around Europe, just chilling. It says update. The original goal was met, but the hotel I was staying at while looking for a new place to live was doxxed. I'm now in hiding. I'm keeping the GoFundMe up, but all donations are going directly to my legal fund, which I will be using to seek justice. But that's all it said. Using to seek justice. Justice against who? You already said you weren't suing QAnon. You can't, I'm sure. You got to prove that somebody from there doxed you. Well, who are you? I don't. $101,278 Canadian. $101,278 Canadian. Because this is why. I need your help because I can't do this alone. I started a GoFundMe after being victimized by the London police in Canada for being the victim of a hate crime. I need to move immediately, recoup my losses, and to build a legal fund to protect my rights. I have been subject to emotional damages, financial damages, blatant violations of Human Rights Act, and discrimination against me on the basis of gender identity and expression. I was also subject to unjust seizures that not only affected my livelihood, but has severely disrupted my work. My fiance is doing what is doing in their doctorate program. The work my fiance is doing in their doctorate program, which has the potential to impact whether or not my fiance finishes their doctorate. Because there is no policy in my city against swatting, there's no guarantee this will not happen again, and my home is not safe. But still, moving expenses to $100,000? Legal expensive for $100,000. What are your legal expenses for? Let's see. Here's a let's listen to this.
On August 5th, I was woken up by London police services pointing an assault rifle in my face at my home. I was told later that at 6 a.m. that morning, an email impersonating me was sent to every city councillor in the city of London, Ontario, stating that I have an illegal firearm, that I killed my mother, and that I plan to go to City Hall and shoot every cisgender person I see.
Yeah, we've all been swatted. It sucks.
I was shown the email while I was being interrogated in police custody. Well, the emails were riddled with grammatical errors and read more like something...
By the way, one of her huge claims is that the police dead name her. Dead name would be using her male name from when she was before her transitioning, using her Tom or Jake or whatever. What the police actually do is use her previous last name because she already has a file in the police department under that previous last name. That's not dead naming. I don't think anybody would argue that. It's your last name. Your last name. They still call you by your chosen name, and I'm assuming pronouns. It's your last name. That's not dead naming. If someone accidentally called Mariah, my wife, by her maiden name, I'm sure she wouldn't flip out and say that she was dead named.
Troll would say it than something I would sincerely say. The police took it seriously. Not only that, the email said my name was Clara Sorrenti, but also stated what my dead name was. It was an obvious attempt to make the police humiliate me. During the arrest,
Again, her last name, because they already have a file on you with your last name. They're going to add that last name if that's what pulls up when they need to search your name.
the police officer referred to me by my dead name. I was booked in the station under my dead name. The police, when talking to my mother, referred to me as her son. This is despite the fact that I have run as both a member of parliament and a member of provincial parliament under my name, Clara Sorrenti. The fact that a fake email led to London Police Services booking me under my dead name reveals the prejudice that many police have towards transgender people. This is despite the fact that the email contained my real name before ever even mentioning my dead name. This is one of the property bags returned to me after I was released from custody. All of the property.
So she's holding up a bag that says Roberts on it, which is her former last name. That is not dead naming you. That's what all the documentation, you've already had a run in with the cops of some form. That's what they have you under. That's your last name. That's not dead naming you.
Property bags returned to me have Roberts written on them. Roberts was my last name until I legally changed my name first to Kaylee Sorrenti on January 25th, 2012, and then later to Clara Sorrenti on March 7th, 2018. When I changed my name, I took my mother's maiden name. My last name has not been Roberts in over 10 years. The only reason that Roberts is on the property bags is because I was booked under my dead name. A search warrant was issued, which I have a copy of here. They were looking for a handgun, ammunition, cartridges, cleaning tools, a gun case, cell phones, and computers. They seized both my personal and work phone, as well as the work computer that I broadcast on Twitch from. Not only that, but the police seized my fiance's cell phones and laptop, as well as their external drive, which...
By the way, she's now said that she got those back within 3 days, but she's still raising money to replace them.
...contained the only copy of their PhD thesis and other important university documents. Because of the negligence of the police, we were both left functionally unemployed, and I have spent thousands of dollars replacing our computers and cell phones so our lives aren't completely destroyed by what happened to us. After the police interrogated me and realized this is a situation that...
So she regularly has 1,000+ viewers. She's not hurting for like, it's not like they're right up against it or anything.
...happened to me before, I was released with no charges. Without my devices...
We're over here making it on, what do we have? We have maybe a couple hundred viewers. Half of those on Twitch, half of those on YouTube at max. I mean, not right now. We have about 120, but still, we're making it. You have 10 times the amount of viewers.
I could not let people close to me know what had happened to me, and they were in the dark for hours. Even after acquiring a new phone, I still cannot log into some of my accounts because the London Police Service holds the phone that my two-factor authentication goes to. This same situation happened just over a week ago, on Sunday, July 31st, in a city I don't live in, Toronto. On that day, I talked to Sergeant Nathan Gibson after someone impersonating me made similar threats to Toronto politicians. Sergeant Gibson chalked it up to a swatting attempt. I was not charged with a crime, nor was I named as a suspect in an investigation by the Toronto Police. London Police Services should have been aware that this could happen. In fact, my brother called London Police Services on March 27th in a conversation lasting 9 minutes and 16 seconds to see if my family could be put on a no swatting list, only to be treated like we were wearing tinfoil hats and completely dismissed. They told my brother things would be fine. They were wrong. Despite getting a search warrant to search my home and finding no guns, as well as my mother alive and well, I am still a suspect in the investigation by London Police Services. My devices, including my fiance's hard drive that contains all of their important PhD-related documents, will not be returned to us before digital forensics analyzes them. This is
Returned within 3 days.
a process my lawyer advised me could take months. Swatting is a crime. Identity theft is a crime. And because it was a crime that was motivated by hatred against transgender people, it was a hate crime perpetrated against me. Instead of the police helping me, they terrorized me and my loved ones, traumatizing me and leaving my fiance and I on the verge of losing everything. They victimized me for being the victim of a hate crime. I need your help because I can't do this alone. I started a GoFundMe to move immediately, recoup my losses, and build a legal fund to protect my rights. I have been subject to emotional damages, financial damages, blatant violations of the Human Rights Act, and discrimination on the basis of gender identity and expression. I was also subject to unjust seizures, which not only affected my livelihood, but has severely disrupted the work that my fiance is doing in their doctorate program, and has the potential to impact whether or not my fiance finishes their doctorate. Because there is no policy in my city against swatting, there is no guarantee this will not happen again, and my home is not safe. If you are a journalist or someone who works in media and you want to reach out to me for comment, you can reach me at inquiries@keffals.info. I'll leave all additional information and links in the description. I do not yet know when I'm going to be returning to broadcasting on Twitch. When I was woken up by police officers and saw the assault rifle pointed at me, I thought I was going to die. I feel traumatized. I just want everyone to know what
There's issues with that story too, by the way.
so I can seek justice for what happened to me.
All right, so that's her video. Now, Destiny goes on to claim police dead named her several times during her arrest. When booking her, though, she and her partner, Alex, would go on to make claims contradicting both of these statements later on in a September 15th stream, as well as an official statement released by the police chief claiming that Sorrenti was never dead named once in custody. Sorrenti claimed the incident reveals the prejudice that many police have towards transgender people, despite them initially confronting her using her given name and apparently never using her dead name while she was in custody. There is no evidence that police used her pre-transition first name, which is what is most commonly referred to as dead name. The only evidence Sorrenti has ever posted are evidence bags showing her previous last name. Sorrenti claims that because of the negligence of the police, her and her fiance were both left functionally unemployed, and she has spent thousands of dollars replacing their computers and cell phones. She has never posted proof of repurchasing any cell phones or computers. Her phones and computers were returned to her within 3 days as well. She suffered no losses, yet never updated the GoFundMe to reflect this. In a leaked conversation, Sorrenti admitted to keeping the money she'd raised in her savings account until she, quote, needs to use it. And she probably stated that she will, quote, never do a GoFundMe breakdown for bad faith actors. It's also been leaked from her Twitter messages that she is currently vacationing around Europe. On August 10th stream, when speaking about why she is continually raising the goal for the GoFundMe, she reaffirms that, quote, once I'm safe, the rest of those funds are going to be used for legal expenses because I'm not just moving. I'm also taking legal action. I already have one lawyer and I'm consulting with 2 more. I'm going to get justice for what happened to me and for every other marginalized person in the country who has been victimized. Legal fees are incredibly expensive, and I feel very fortunate that I was able to raise this much money because I would not be able to take legal action if it wasn't for that. No, this is not the reasonable explanation for the continual raising of the goal. The goal moved up as the money was coming in and was never set at the amount that she would need to cover such legal expenses. The goal seems to always track the money in rather than any fixed cost. At this point, the GoFundMe had raised about $74,300. However, on August 21st, she was more careful with her language, stating now that, quote, she wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them, but they've taken the threat against her life very seriously. She wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them, but they've taken the threat against her life very seriously, casting doubt on whether she's even pursuing legal action against them. And then finally, on September 14th, she claims that, quote, the thing that they say with this is that I said that this money was for suing the police, which I never did. She also claims that she wanted to raise $100,000 from the beginning. So she, quote, kept raising the cap until she got there. And she also claimed that she simply just wanted to raise as much money as possible. So she goes on to claim that she used the GoFundMe money to pay an entire year's worth of rent. Why would you pay a year's worth of rent if you're getting doxxed and possibly have to move? So let's review her original claim. Move immediately. She had to use the money to pay for 12 months of rent in advance, but rather than moves immediately, she seems to have taken a vacation around Europe. Recoup her losses. There were no financial damages to recoup. Build a legal fund to protect her rights. Sorrenti is now claiming she is not going to sue the police. According to GoFundMe's fraudulent campaign policy, examples of expressly forbidden fraudulent activity include posting misleading statements in the fundraiser story. It's up for them to decide if anything thus far misleading, though the answer seems to be obvious. Isn't that crazy? There's a whole nother section about bathtub hormone replacement therapy for minors and how she was literally knew that it was going to mostly minors or a lot of minors, but then claims it wasn't. But we'll cover that on like a different show. I'm actually going to close this picture because now I want to show you a video. And I don't know if you guys know. By the way, that's Keffals and Destiny. Destiny opened and closed the door. I've got this link. I'll drop it in Telegram later. But it is the link to Destiny's manifesto. And it's like off the chain. It's off the chain. It is wild. So, he goes through every point. He does a really good job. He breaks it all down. It's called Keffals, a case study on internet terrorism and mass media manipulation. He's done a bunch of manifestos on different people, like when people claim stuff against him or say he did something, or maybe something happens in the background and they try to come out and get ahead of it and put it out there for the world to see, and it's not accurate. He goes back through and he's almost always got the receipts. So you guys can go check that out. Let's see here. All right. So this last one, the last thing I want to cover is about cheating in fishing. And this show's called What You Recently Missed. This is a big deal. I had no idea that fishing was potentially taken this seriously, okay? It doesn't seem like it would be taken this seriously. It doesn't seem like this serious of a matter, but I guess that it's like a tournament, and there's like a lot of money you could potentially win and a lot of money that wasn't won. And apparently, stop playing. And apparently, a lot of people very upset because these people that were cheating have been like have been the winners for like years in a row. Have won tournament after tournament after tournament, and finally someone called them out on it. So I'm gonna pull up this video here, and let's let this play. This is at a fishing tournament. I think this is on Lake Michigan. Walleye fishing, endless journey fishing, TikTok's fish. I think they said it was Lake Michigan. It's a walleye tournament.
Our second place, Fat Five team. Second place, Fat Five. Weighing in a big fish, 790. Weighing in a big fish, 790. Locking it in, 790.
Destiny's banned from Twitch. He's on YouTube.
Weighing in 5. I gotta tell you, you gotta beat 16 some pounds.
So they got to beat 16 pounds in something. And you're only allowed to keep so many fish, right? So like typical tournaments, like when I used to fish like bass tournaments and stuff, it would be like 5 fish and they would give a prize for the single biggest fish and then a combination of like the 5 in weight. So all 5 add up to a winner, a total winner. And then whoever caught like the biggest single fish also won something. But so because you're taking 5 fish, okay, and weighing them up, it's not too hard, especially if there's a huge variation. Let's say one person has has like fucking 15 pounds and one person has 25 pounds, it's not hard to see that all their fish are bigger. Or most of their fish are the same size. They got one monster fucking fish. It's not hard to see when they hold these fish up. But here we go.
$33.91, $33.91. Your new leader.
What does that have to?
Team of the year. Definitely team of the year champions. Round of applause. You got Chase Kaminsky, Jake Peters, locking. You got to beat 16 some pounds. $33.91,
almost 34 pounds. So the size to beat was 16 pounds and something, and they ended up with almost 34 pounds.
$33.91. Your new leaders, locking it in. Team of the year. Definitely team of the year champions. Round of applause. You got Chase Kaminsky, Jake Runyon. We need pictures of those fish over here. Stick around a while.
33.
Everybody's like, man, 33, that sounds like a lot. That sounds crazy. That sounds, everybody's calling it out, right?
That it? One more, come on. TJ and Kevin Mowry coming up the scales. They got 3.
This is a full video here.
616.
All right, so they're over there getting ready to take a picture with their fish. So they told them, they said, stick around. We need pictures of those fish. They're getting the fish out. They're a group, right? So you fish in a pair, and they're gonna hold up the fish here and take a picture.
Not what you wanted, right, TJ? That it?
All right, so you're going to see a third guy walk up to him here. You kind of have to listen in the background. You actually hear somebody talk about cutting them open. Yeah, it depends on how big the tournament is. Yeah, but sometimes there's like large lump sums of cash and like very expensive boats and shit.
We're going to do a little tallying up. I think that's everybody. We'll double check the scores. I need somebody from the Levi tent.
Let's watch.
What we got going on. We'll conclude with some of the Levi raffles. Steve, if you got raffles over there, let us know what's going on over there. We'll announce it.
What's that? Yeah. Fuck no, I didn't.
All right, so it's all wrapping up. They've been declared the winners. Took their pictures, did all that. Somebody just said, I'm going to cut that fucking fish open. That's what they just said. Now the police are coming. Oh, shit. I don't think the police had anything to do with it, but. So you can see they're working from a basket right here, like a plastic case. Looking at some of the fish. Pulled a fish out. They're laying them in the basket. And that's the winner standing there. And that's another guy that's not with him standing there or squatted down. I know it's hard to see. I can try to, let's do this. I'll do this. I can try to zoom in. Main display, hold Alt. It's going to be stretched for a second, but then I'll fix it. Okay, that's the winner. That's the winner standing right here. And then squatted down working these fish is not his partner. Somebody's saying there's no fucking way those fish weigh that much. No fucking way.
The fish are so much bigger than this. I ain't never seen shit like that. No fucking way. I saw your fish.
No fucking way. I saw your fish. There's no fucking way.
Are they coming open? No fucking yeah.
They didn't look double. Like they looked maybe bigger than the person who was in second place. They didn't look double the weight. To go from 16 to 33 pounds, every fish would have to be twice as big. Because we're not measuring like fillets or like edible weight off of. We're measuring the whole fish, guts and all. Look at him. He's cutting that fish open in the very top of the, I don't think you can see it. In the very top of the video, he's cutting a fish open. Hold on. See him on the ground there? He's cutting that fish open.
We got weights and fish.
There we go.
We got weights and fish. And not just a few weights, okay? They took lead weights, like big ass fucking sinkers, right? And put them in these fish. See behind my head? See all these egg weights? These are just the ones they instantly found. These are just the ones they instantly found with like one little slice on the fish and dug them out, okay? Big ass weights. And they're not even guaranteed they got them all out. But this is the same basket that he's working out of. There's their fish laying right there, and here's where they tossed all the weights. We're gonna finish watching that video, but yeah, it's they fucking put lead weights in all the fish to win.
Where's the other one?
People are freaking out.
You're a fucking piece of shit! Get the fuck out of here! You piece of fucking shit! You all these fucking
Everybody's money back! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
You piece of shit! You motherfucker! Yeah, go get Jason, motherfucker! All these motherfucking years!
Look at that!
Go get that motherfucker! How you like it now? Huh?
They're having him go get his partner. So that's who they're yelling about. Go get that guy. Go get that guy. It's his fishing partner because he wasn't there. Only one of them was there.
All these fucking years! We're winning! You fucking piece of shit! You fucking piece of shit!
So there was an accusation that not only did they pull out weights, I don't know if it's in this photo, but this might be it right here, but they also had used fish fillets and had shoved them down inside the fish. That was an accusation. I don't know if it's true. We're fixing to read the article right now. Video shows lead weights and walleye cheating accusations at pro fishing event, quote, should be in jail. 2 fishermen thought they had won the Lake Erie Walleye Trials final event in of the 2022 season. This is a final event of the season until tournament director Jason Fisher sliced open the duo's catch at the weigh-in. Fisher found lead weights apparently stuffed inside fish caught by Chase Kaminsky of Pennsylvania and Jake Runyon of Ohio, according to the news reports. Dramatic social media videos. We got weights in fish. The fuck did that come from? We got weights in fish, Fisher shouted. Get out of here, he added, referring to refereeing the scene like an umpire. Police and State Department of Natural Resources officials were called, according to news reports. Disgusted guys and gals, I'm sorry for letting you down for so long, and I'm glad I caught the cheating taking place in your LDWT at the same time, Fisher wrote on the tournament's social media page later. Runyon and Kaminsky were removed from the tournament standings, the Cleveland Plain Dealer reported. And here's the original article. And it says, a cheating scandal has rocked the competitive fishing world as 2 fishermen were alleged to have illegally stuffed their fish with weights and extra fillets. Chase Kaminsky of Hermitage, Pennsylvania, and Jake Runyon of Cleveland, Ohio, thought they had claimed victory at the Lake Erie Walleye Tournament, LEWT, final event of the 2022 season, until they didn't. LEWT tournament director Jason Fisher, who moonlights as a police officer in the suburbs of Cleveland, brought the duo's fraudulent act in the spotlight at the weigh-ins of the event. Fisher sliced open one of the fish that Runyon and Kaminsky had caught, only to find an object that sparked outrage, a lead weight. Upon discovering the first lead weight, Fisher wound up his arm and yelled, "You're out of here," in scenes reminiscent of an overzealous baseball umpire. But it wasn't just one lead weight. There were more. The furious mob of fishermen stormed over and hurled expletives at Runyon, who stood there like a stunned mullet as he was forced to witness his reputation being destroyed in real time. More lead weights were discovered with every fish that Fisher opened up, with some even stuffed with extra pieces of walleye fillet thought to have been bought at the store. Safe to say the rest of the competition in the LEWT did not take kindly to the alleged cheating, one describing it as fucking thief, while another yelled at Runyon that he should be in jail. So the problem is, even if you think they cheated in previous tournaments, it's too fucking late. It's too fucking late to prove it, right? Those fish are gone. You would have to fucking cut them open or something at every tournament. Then it says it shares a video here, blah, blah, blah. A more measured competitor, but with an equal desire for justice, asked, "Don't we need to file a police report?" The rest of the competition were, let's just say, a little more direct and not so measured in their abuse, as Runyon and Kaminsky were caught hook, line, and sinker. Fisher issued a statement on LEWT's official Facebook page apologizing for the heinous act of the duo. Disgusted, guys and gals, I'm sorry for letting you down for so long, and I'm glad I caught cheating taking place in your LEWT at the same time, Fisher wrote. I can't think enough to post results, but congrats Zeko and French and Toy Hendricks and Ulmer. Same goes to the Yak and Open winners. I hope you know now that when I say you built this LEWT and I will defend its integrity at all costs, I mean it. You all deserve the best. As if the saga could become even more scandalous, Kaminsky and Runyon's rivals have long suspected the duo were up to something fishy. They claimed victories across several LEWT events in 2021, including the season-ending championship. But it reached a boiling point when the pair won the Lake Erie Fall Brawl fishing event in 2021 and stood to reel in $156,000 in cash prizes. Why is this in? Hold on. $156. So that's in Australian dollars. I'm trying to get it to US dollars. It's $100,000. $100,550 in US dollars. I don't know why it's in Australian dollars. According to Toledo Blade. having topped the scales with their fish. Jesus Christ. They were stood to win $100,000 in one, not this tournament, but one they already won in 2021. But the duo were disqualified from the event without an explanation. Oh, so they were supposed to win the $100,000 prize, but they were disqualified from the event without an explanation from tournament organizers as one of them failed a lie detector test. Who the fuck knew that you had to take a lie detector test in competitive fishing? Did you guys know that? I've actually fished some bass tournaments. I'm not saying I'm good or anything like that, but I had a buddy who, I had a couple buddies that were good, and when one of them missed, the other one would call me and be like, "Hey, would you go with me? I got to have a partner." Blah blah blah. I'm not good. I enjoy it. I mean, it's relaxing or whatever. But they were good. They won a boat and a truck one time. They won a boat and a truck one time, and trailer all together. But I've never heard of lie detector tests. Runyon employed lawyers to argue his case as he attempted to sue the brawl for his winnings. But in light of recent events, he might as well kiss that goodbye. So he was in an active lawsuit trying to get that money back. Let's just hope Runyon has managed to hire the same legal team in the aftermath of this scandal. That's wild. It's wild, dude. But yeah, they're super upset. Let's watch it again because it's funny. We won't watch it all again, but I'll skip back to the good part.
Second place.
Here's where he's cutting them open.
The fish are so much bigger than this. I ain't never seen shit like that. No fucking way. They saw the fish. Are they coming open? No fucking. Yeah.
So, by the way, this is the new show, but all the donation links are the same. If anybody wants to use buy me a coffee or stuff, those alerts ought to still be working. Also, somebody last night, I was sick and didn't get to stream, and somebody last night made a donation. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
Hey, I'm not following that. Write this down.
We got weights and fish.
There we go!
Get out of here!
You don't need them. Where's the other one? You fucking right. You're a fucking piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. You piece of fucking shit. You all these fucking
Everybody's money back. Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
You piece of shit. You motherfucker. Yeah, go get Jason, motherfucker. All these motherfucking years.
Look at that.
Go get that motherfucker. How you like it now? Huh? You lost all these fucking years. We're winning. You fucking piece of shit.
No wonder you lost the vote.
You fucking piece of shit.
Our second place.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, so that's what's currently going on here. That shit's wild. I don't know. That shit's crazy. There should be also on this channel, it should be monetized with ads. I'm sure it got demonetized already, but I'm trying to keep this channel monetizable, friendly, not get banned, not get struck, none of that. But that's the new show, guys. It's stuff that maybe I wouldn't have covered or that I saved for this show, and it's what you recently missed because we're going to do a play on it, kind of like being a radio station, W.Y.R.M. And it also spells the worm, which I thought was kind of funny. But that's the new show, What You Recently Missed. This is the first episode. It'll be every Saturday. I know today's Sunday. It'll be every Saturday. I know we covered like some Q stuff and Keffals stuff today, so it'll probably be demonetized, but I'm trying to keep it monetized. There are super chats and super thanks available. Same donation links. So now our schedule looks like Monday, Wednesday, Friday are free streams to everybody. Tuesday and Thursday or Tuesdays and Thursdays are Patreon shows, depending on the level. Saturday is going to be this show, and Sunday is going to be like a show to do whatever. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for those who participated in chat and, you know, left a message or something, whatever. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'm going to hop off here. So when we get this settled, I'm also going to be doing audio only, like a podcast, and presenting that. But it's only on Twitch, and it's only on my YouTube channel, or this YouTube channel. And then all my other videos are on the same Twitch, but the other YouTube channel, CBC Anon. So I hope you enjoy it. It just run down through some stories, less in my opinion and more about your all's. Less getting sidetracked and telling stories, just kind of like running down the viral videos of that week or whatever. I don't want to do anything older than a month old. So even if we missed it and it wasn't that week, let's say it's 3 weeks old, I'll cover it, but I don't want to do anything older than a month old. I want to keep it kind of relevant and relevant to that week of that show and go from there. So hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out. The people, I saw a bunch of people that stayed out the whole time in the comments. I appreciate it. Yeah, other than that, I'm going to hop off here. This one's 2 hours, 45 minutes. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for the donations, support, the new subscribers. Hopefully this show, what I'm hoping this show will be is able to be monetized, able to support us, blah, blah, blah. And then I can make my other shows. You know, I don't have to worry about if they get demonetized or taken down, because this one will be here. So again, thank you guys for joining us. Shout out to the patrons. Sorry I was sick yesterday, but every Saturday, check out this show. You can find it at W.Y.R.M on YouTube. W.Y.R.M, What You Recently Missed, or the same Twitch channel. And then my regular YouTube channel is CBC space Anon, A-N-O-N, CBC Anon on YouTube, or the same Twitch channel. So thank you for joining us. I appreciate it, and we'll see everybody on the next one. Have a good night, guys. Thank you. I'm going to eventually do new animations and alerts for this channel. I just don't have them up yet.
You might not want to get close. We a little wild war, covered in tattoos. Run it up, taking all the views. Stepping on place, feeling the fear. I know you feeling it in the air. Whole squad wearing all black. Motivation's looking real bad. We back to the bone, raising a fire alone. We ain't never needed nobody. Give me 6 feet, this is my party. Ain't got no feelings, we heartless. Take a peek inside of darkness.
Let me know when this video ends. If you're watching on YouTube, wait for this video to end and leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about it. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, whatever. But try to interact with this video, like it, share it, comment on YouTube. I want this channel to do better than my normal shadow banned channels and shit. Go to coldbeer.fun to look at all my my social media links. Oh, I moved it in a. Uh-oh. Move back.
Struggling with my anxiety. Are you feeling the insanity? Anger inside of me. There is a war in me. And it keep drowning me. Blinded by all of the vanity. Snakes all around and they rattling. Tell them to shut up the chattering. Blow up the spot, then we run it. Ready and now here we coming. Somebody better say a prayer for me.
That'll work, I think. I'm also going to have a few guests and like special appearances and stuff on this channel too. Hopefully, all stuff that won't get me banned. I hope. This one's supposed to be the safe channel. right, guys, have a good one. We'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow sometime for a regular show. CBC Anon and twitch.tv/Cold Beer Confessional. You can find me at coldbeer.live.